So let's talk about agency dating. Now, you're probably thinking, well, shouldn't I stay with one agency for the rest of my life? No. There's a lot of ways to play the game. What you don't want to do is you don't want to gaslight anybody. You don't want to pretend like you're going to accept a position and then like back out every single time, because your name will get around for sure. What I would recommend is that when you are travel nursing, if you do find a recruiter that you really like I I found somebody who I really enjoyed, so I was going to stick with him to the death of me. But if you are going to be travel nursing around the country, the state, make sure that you are really thinking about and looking at your options, because each type of agency is getting a different type of job. So this agency might be getting 100 different things, but this one might be getting another 100 and another 100. So if you limit yourself to one agency, you're only seeing one of the 300 options out there. But if you were to have somebody in each section, then maybe you're just like, hey, I am working with other agencies. You might not want to disclose that. You can disclose that if you want to, but I am just trying to really look at my options and what works best for you, because they want to fill those positions as much as you want to start working. If you give them that true opinion, like, hey, I really am looking for this best option, they're going to try to push really hard for you to get to work with them versus the other agencies. Definitely, if you are really going out of state or outside 50 miles, I would recommend getting maybe a few recruiters that you might like, and between one or two agencies, and really, explore for those options. When you are thinking about your travel agency and which one you should pick, my best option for you is to kind of date around at first. Really think about who you want to represent. And a lot of times, like I said earlier, it's not about who your agency is as much as who your recruiter is. Because your recruiter is a person who's going to be talking to you a bunch to really get you those opportunities that you really want. But I would recommend, if you are going out of 50 miles, so whatever the radius is for local traveling versus a real travel opportunity where you're getting a stipend, I would definitely date around. I would pick a few agencies, 1, 2, or 3, and make sure that you have a recruiter in each of those that is understanding of that you are trying to get the best opportunity. Because you have to remember, as much as these recruiters want you to get into a position, you want to work. So if you equally want this goal at the end of the tunnel, it's a lot easier for you to make those terms and agreements that are going to satisfy both parties. So just try to find something that really molds and fits into who you want to represent. That's the most important thing. So let's talk about different types of travel nursing. One big thing that a lot of people don't realize is that you can do local traveling. So local travel nursing is typically when you travel nurse and you're under the 50-mile radius from your home. There could be a difference in radius, but that's what they told me in terms of how far I would need to travel to be a travel nurse. So then I asked my recruiter, hey, what if I traveled in my city and took out the stipend? Boom, local travel nursing was opened up to me. So the biggest thing here is that you'll get paid on an hourly rate, but your hourly rate is usually 2 to 3, 4 times the amount that you're getting paid as a staff nurse. If you think about it, that's like you working 4 times as much, but the same amount in terms of hours. So that's a win-win for me. Now with travel nursing, in terms of distance and it being far, you can choose to either drive 2 hours and go back and forth every day, or you could stay somewhere, like you get an apartment out there, you could do that, Airbnb, long-term stay, or a lot of people do hotels. But I wanted the luxury of coming home every day, being in a familiar city around my friends. I didn't want to be taken out of my environment every 3 days for these shifts. Stayed local, drove to work about 10 minutes, and still was a travel nurse. So win-win there. I was a travel nurse for 5 months, and I really enjoyed the time. It was a great way to make money, and it was a great way to really learn about finances, because you're going to be putting yourself into a new tax bracket. You're going to be probably making more money than you've ever made in a short amount of time ever, or maybe more than you ever will, honestly. And so if you were to ask me, would I do it again? Absolutely. Yesterday, for example, I was contacted by 2 recruiters about different opportunities to travel nurse. One was for $3,500 within the Columbus area, and the other one was for like $2,900 within the Columbus area. before I had started school, which was about 3 weeks ago, my recruiter, Austin, had contacted me and said, "Hey, Luther, I know you're starting school soon, but I'd be a bad recruiter if I didn't tell you." And he said, "There's an opportunity about 60 miles from where you live for $4,500 a week." That almost got me out of school. But obviously we're here for the long-term game. And what I would encourage you is that, really understanding that travel nursing is this great opportunity to make money and to pay off debts, pay off those expenses that you have monthly, to live a different type of lifestyle, take more vacations. It is the opening door to more freedom of your own time. One thing that I read recently was life after school is about buying back your time. Really take that full-heartedly, because travel nursing, you work 3 days a week is your requirement, usually. Maybe 4 days a week if you're making a lot of money. Like when back in COVID times, people were making like 8, 10K. But 3 days a week, making $3,500 a week, you could take vacations, spend more time with your family, get to know who you really are. A lot of travel nurses will work for the 13 weeks or 8 weeks and take a month off. Have you had a month off recently? Your regular job probably doesn't even give you vacation time that often. You have to go, get it requested, get it approved. Probably won't get it. It's probably your weekend. They don't even want to give it to you anyways. And you should use your own PTO to do that. As a travel nurse, you make your own time. You negotiate when you work and when you don't work. Sometimes you have to be flexible for the facility and for your recruiter, but remember, your time is yours alone, and it's time now to buy that back.